the unseen have the Book of Shadows?
Something terrible is coming, and it can't be stopped without you. You can't walk away from your destiny.
This is the job. We're the charmed ones.
No, you're the charmed ones.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Po2 podcast. I'm Amber, and today I have a special guest with me. Jay isn't available at the moment, so I've got someone who is guest hosting. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Caleb. I live in the US. I'm 28. I've been a Charm fan since I think probably like you said, like around 5 or 6. I don't necessarily remember the first episode I watched or anything, but I do remember like the individual experiences of watching certain episodes for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was really excited for the reboot. I've been a fan. I've kept up with it, so I'm really excited to be here today. I'm very excited. Like I can't even put into words.
Oh, so this week we're going to be reviewing Divine Secrets of the OG Sisterhood, which is the 11th episode, I believe.
Yep, season 4, episode 11.
And so let's just get into it. So this episode, for me, I think this episode was a really big episode.
Yeah, it was pretty epic.
Yeah, in terms of like lore, we learned like a lot about like the backstory of the Charmed Ones, where they came from, all of their like stuff that we didn't know. And I think the writers really surprised me
they really surprised me too. I wasn't really expecting it to be so cohesive. Like they tied in a lot of things from even season 1, every season.
They've kind of forged their own sort of lore, and they're kind of how the origin story came about. And I feel like that was a really interesting thing that they've done, because we never really got any kind of lore in the original series. It was sort of just like Melinda Warren, she's the first witch, blah 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 blah, and now you're the Charmed Ones.
And it was more just like individual moments in the timeline of the Warrens as opposed to like where their magic came from. Like I really liked how they pulled it off in this episode.
Yeah, okay, so this episode started off with they were at the funeral for Dev.
Yes. And did we know Jordan could sing? Like I wasn't aware that Jordan could sing, I don't think. And it was good.
No, I don't think we did. And I thought he was really, really good. Really good. He's got a really nice voice. And ironically, Jordan is actually, the guy who plays him is actually called Jordan. And
I never even put that together.
Yeah. And,
Jordan Donica, yeah, that's his name.
And basically he's known really for doing theatre and things. That's something that he does a lot in real life, which is interesting, because I still didn't know that he had like that kind of singing voice. Oh, actually, we did get to hear him sing.
I feel like there was a karaoke episode.
Yeah.
Where him and Maggie sang. Yeah.
Yeah, season 2.
And I knew that Sarah Jeffrey, because I was obsessed with the Descendant series once upon a time. So like I already knew that she sang, but
yeah. So obviously we got the opening scene of them at the funeral, which was I'm still not very happy with the fact that they killed off Dev.
I'm not either. I really enjoyed his character.
He was like, for me, he was like probably one of my favorite parts of season 4. And I feel like the way that they wrote him off, I said this is the last podcast, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the way it was handled. So to see her mourning him, but it was I understand that they had to do this story because they had to have
they had to have that thing that sent Kayla over the edge.
Yeah. So that was the like the defining moment, really. So later on in the episode, the Unseen use the Book of Shadows because that creepy dude took it
Yeah.
from the previous episode.
Yes. And I remember I was so confused because I was like, can't he not touch the book? But I forget they're not evil. It's just they're magical and brainwashed.
Well, this is the thing, and I've seen this a lot on Twitter. A lot of people have been complaining about like the Book of Shadows and how it's being because it can be touched pretty much by anyone. The Book of
Right.
Shadows doesn't have any like magical protection on it,
I guess, yeah, you're right. You're right.
which is so stupid
Of course, we
because
only got the one season with the book before they destroyed it really unceremoniously in the first 7 minutes of that first episode of season 2.
yeah, and it was like so a lot of people are getting confused because the Book of Elders protects itself from demons because Macy wasn't able to originally touch it. Remember, she got thrown across the room when
Yes.
she touched it.
Yeah.
But the Book of Shadows can be accessed. And I thought, well, even though the book can be touched, I thought, well, there's no way it's going to like cooperate with these bad guys, you know?
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. And then the guy was like, oh, show me a spell to like bring back the Unity Bowl or whatever it was. And the book just did it. And I was just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so basically, Kayla rejects her destiny in this episode. She's had enough. She doesn't want anything to do with being a charmed one. She goes off. And that's the second time, I think it's the second time that she's done that. She's
Yes,
really
it
not.
is.
So she kind of rejects like her destiny, and it's sort of, I can understand why she did it, but at the same time I sort of can't because I feel like I don't know. I know that they were in love, but you know, she's
I
got
think I was expecting a revenge type of thing. Like I would think that her death or Dev's death would want to send her on a path to like to get to avenge his death. But that's not what we got. I guess she would be more used to not dealing with it with other people because I don't think she had any foster siblings, did she? Or adopted siblings?
no, she didn't, I don't
Mm-mm.
think. And so she drives off in the bus and she ends up running into a mysterious woman on the side of the road who turns out to be Ashani.
Ashani,
hmm
one of the original charmed ones.
Yeah, I thought Ashani was just she's not what I thought. I thought, well, when I heard that they were gonna like do the original Sisterhood,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of like these old women, and she's
I
like,
wasn't expecting them to be just the same age.
it was kind of strange. But basically, Ashani, they do this whole weird thing where she like,
She drugs Kayla.
yeah, with this like banana fritters.
Yes. I guess they're Ghanaian. They're her mom's recipe. Did you catch that when Ashani revealed that?
Yeah, I did. I thought that was.
I thought that was a little creepy. She really went the extra mile to get Kayla going.
Mm. But what ends up happening is that because she's drugged, she ends up like painting this giant mural on the side of her bus.
Very beautiful mural, if I can say so.
Yeah, and it tells the story of basically the charmed ones. And I guess the woman that did this, I can't remember her name, but the prop artist, the woman that did it, she
Mm-hmm.
said that this was her favorite kind of thing that she'd ever done for a TV show. And I thought it was really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
And so the story, from what I gather, it's very convoluted, but
It is a
basically,
little convoluted.
yeah, basically the 9 tribes of magic. So the Conqueror, who we've met before, that was Viv in season 2. She was like a reincarnation of the Conqueror, but basically the Conqueror was this like bad dude that wanted to take all the magic for himself, I guess. And so the 9 tribes of magic put their magic into the Unity Bowl, and I guess it's what gave Shani
It's Ishta, Ishani, and Inara.
Yeah, so
Ishta is the sister that guards the tree.
yeah, and so that's what gave them their magic.
I thought that was
And
pretty neat.
yeah, that was really interesting to me. And then I guess because I guess what they did with the rest of the magic that the conqueror, after they, I guess they defeated the conqueror, the rest of the magic they put in the source,
Yes, they created the source.
which that is the one thing that I don't quite kind of understand about the whole source thing, because sometimes when they refer to the source, they call it the source of all evil.
Yes.
And other times they're like, oh, that's the flame.
Oh yeah, the sacred flame. Yep.
It just kind of confused me,
Yeah,
because I don't feel like the writers are kind of like, they've
I think
not,
they're picking and choosing the elements that they can work with,
yeah.
and then just kind of throwing everything else away. But
That's one of the things that I don't sort of like. I just wish that it was a little bit more cohesive. But so yeah, that was the story of the origin of the source. And meanwhile, I guess you could say I guess Maggie's subplot in this episode is that her and Jordan try to help Chloe.
the pixie. Chloe the Pixie. I love Chloe the Pixie. She's just she exists in a completely different show than everybody else. I used to say that about Lucy too. You remember Lucy from season 1? Oh, she was just great.
Oh, I love Lucy.
Yeah, I did too.
And I just think that, like, I think Chloe is just like this, like, ball of energy. She's this really bright, like, interesting character.
If I can say this, she's got more life in that one character than the last 2 seasons had combined. Like,
oh yeah. And so basically Chloe's sister, who I can't remember the name of,
Daphne.
Basically she's been, I guess the lost one has got to her.
Yeah, she actually, Chloe woke up and Daphne was missing, and she found a note that explained that she went to be with the lost one because the lost one promised that she could bring back Annie, she was in a few episodes back.
Yeah, so I mean, that was just, a really interesting plot, because we got to see, I don't quite know how it happened. I can't quite remember.
I'm not sure either.
But I think Maggie somehow got into the vision,
she cast the flip side spell.
Oh yeah, she got
it out of the Book of Elders.
And that's how she found out about it. And then we got this scene where, like, Maggie's trying to communicate with Jordan on the other side, and she's like,
she chooses then to decide to want to have the talk.
Yeah.
Like, I just was like, girl, this is not the moment.
And we got this scene where basically Maggie's trapped in this, like, vision or whatever, this spell. And there's this little hole at the top, this little tiny portal for her to get out. And Chloe's like, oh yeah, you need to become, basically she helps her become a fairy, a pixie. And we see Maggie sprout wings.
They're super pretty wings, I'll give them that.
So she flew up and she got out. But I thought it was cute how they did it.
It was something I could see being in the OG Charmed.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily the hole in the floor and the rope, but at certain elements I could see being. That's what I like about this season. I feel like there are elements, not even necessarily that could compare to the original, but just feel like the first season did.
I mean, I think the big difference between, like, this season and season 2 and 3 is obviously because we've got different showrunners.
Yeah, I feel like the show would have been completely different if we either didn't change showrunners or had these showrunners at the beginning of season 2.
But Joey Falco has actually watched all of the original show, or at least a lot of it. So he
Mhm.
knows that world. And I honestly don't think, and this is my opinion, I
Mhm.
don't think Craig and Liz watched the original Charmed at
I
all.
I don't think they were interested in it either. They were just more focused on the action and the magic, which is not what Charmed is about.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the season 2 stories were just, oh God, I could rant about that
Oh, they were. Oh,
all
yeah, I
week.
could too. I really could.
Yeah, I think a lot. I think the overall feeling is that season 2 and 3 were just not as good as season
Mhm.
1 or this
Definitely
season.
not. There definitely wasn't the humor or the. I'll even take a page out of Chloe's book. The whimsy wasn't there anymore in
Oh
seasons
yeah.
2 and 3. It wasn't fun. It just wasn't fun. It took itself way too seriously.
hmm So I guess the other kind of plot for Maggie, well, after Maggie's plot, I guess the other plot is Mel's plot.
Yes, Moxie.
So what do you think about Roxy and Mel?
I I think they're great. I love that they're pairing Mel with Roxy. They seem to really fit together. Um, like because Mel's in this weird spot where she's trying to figure out who she is. And I feel like with help, even though Roxy is going into hibernation, you know what I mean? I feel like they just offset each other really well.
Yeah, I'm not super keen on either of them. Them as a parent. I mean, I don't hate them. I just don't particularly care about them.
Mm-hmm.
But so I guess Roxy and Mel team up to kind of figure out what's happened because apparently one of the
The
those
bebops.
yeah, the bebops are whatever they're missing in action. And
Yes.
so Mel uses this potion to basically miniaturize themselves, turn them into like shrink themselves, and they go into like their lair, and we discover that one of the bebops is like killed the other
Murdered.
one.
Yeah, just murdered. Murdered on the bathroom floor.
Thought that plot was ridiculous.
I thought it there were parts of it that reminded me of um the episode of the original where they all three get miniaturized and put in clay by Robert
Yeah,
England.
yeah, that was a good
Um
episode.
I just thought that it I guess it kind of wasn't as fun, but that's not to say that I thought it was bad either, you know.
No, I
Like you
think it
said, I just kind of thought it was a little much, little ridiculous.
I think that it would have been better if they had like the three of them doing it together.
Yes.
I feel like part of the problem with the reboot is they're always going off in different directions.
I completely agree with you.
They never like team up to do pretty much anything. They only seem to come together at like the worst moments when it's like the situations are real
When it's
dire.
yes. Or like they'll come together at the end of an episode to tell each other about their day. But like that's I want to see them in action together. We did get a lot more of that this season, which I can appreciate.
Yeah, and I think that is kind of the important um the important part of the show is their sisterhood and them working together. And I think you'll feel that while they're doing it a lot more this season, and they've been doing it a lot more than they've certainly been doing it a lot more than they did in the last 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to see them work together more. That's what I would have preferred. And then we get to see one of the bebops turn giant, and I can't really remember what happens after that, to be honest. I think
He let me find it here in my notes. I remember as soon as he becomes big, Harry is right there and he's like, "Well, what do you think you're doing?" And he punches him out and Mel's like, "Harry, we were just about to do that."
yeah. And so I guess, I guess the guy that was one of the bebops had been radicalized by the unseen and kind of, I don't know if Inara had any part in that, but yeah, he seems to be like,
I would assume so. I would assume that she influenced him because he killed that other girl, the other bebop.
yeah, that's pretty major.
And
Um,
he said that he killed her because she was defending the charmed ones.
hmm,
So I would imagine that Inara was involved. I'm not sure that we explained the rest of the story that Ishani told. I think I had cut you off at some point.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
So you had said that they created the source, and then Inara wanted to take that power for herself so that she could spread magic around the world and change it. And they ended up arguing, and that's what tore them apart. So that's when Ishta and Ishani, they locked her in the Otaku mines.
Yeah, which I guess
They were punishing, and the power that created the Charmed Ones punished them for destroying the Sisterhood. So that's why Ishta is the guardian of the tree, and that's why Ishani is doomed to walk alone.
that's kind of why she's the way she is. She's I guess she's resentful.
Yeah, she's definitely resentful that they locked her in there.
And then I guess the big kind of I was going to say the big showdown happens, but we haven't spoken about Harry's plot. So
no, yeah, we sure didn't.
So Harry is in the magical VHS center, which is so ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to say it, but I didn't. I was going to let you say it first.
And basically we find out, I think it's this episode that we find out that the origin of the VHS store is that a witch, Diana, basically tells Harry that a witch cast a spell from her world, another charmed one with the power of premonition, which we assume is Phoebe Halliwell.
Right.
She casts a spell to kind of record all of the world's events on VHS tape, which is just so ridiculous to me.
It is. It's a little much. Why are they VHS tapes, first of all?
Well, I think the writers kind of want to I think they were trying to throw it back, but I think by that point, wasn't everything on DVD?
I mean, and if everything wasn't on DVD, a majority, you know what I mean? Like DVDs were a thing.
Yeah.
Because I think DVDs came out even before the turn of the millennium. So yeah, I think maybe it could be a specific reference to Phoebe's love for Kill It Before It Dies. Because there's a whole episode when they get it for her on VHS.
Oh yeah, she loves that film. So maybe
that's kind of what I was thinking.
And so there's this massive hallway full of VHSs.
Massive.
And basically, yeah, I mean, Harry's kidnapped and tied to a chair, which is something that he's got quite used to doing.
I was gonna say he's spending a lot of time in the chair.
Yeah. And he escapes, basically. Doesn't he escape?
Yeah, and Diana's really distraught about it.
Because she's apparently she's been stuck there for 15 years, which
at least she's had the tapes for company, I guess.
Yeah, she's stuck in this let's be honest, she's stuck in this magical world. And even though she's been stuck there for 15 years, her hair looks great, her makeup's on fleek, and
she's just living her best life in there.
I mean, if you were stuck on a desert island or something, you wouldn't look like that. But I guess we're all supposed to suspend belief because this is a magical VHS center thing.
Living on popcorn and generic candy.
Oh my God. I mean, she would be so fat. In reality, she would be fat, and and probably she wouldn't even have any I don't know, because you need nutrients and stuff to eat, don't you?
And water. Was there water in there? I didn't see a water fountain.
Oh my God, it's so ridiculous.
Right. There's a popcorn machine.
Yeah. And who fills that up?
Yeah, where do the kernels come from? Where's the butter?
I know.
How do they get more? Yes, ridiculous. In conclusion,
I just feel it would have been better if they had done it in a way that it was and I know this sounds kind of weird, but maybe it was a realm with magical books.
That's what I was thinking. Books or even relics or
they had that episode of the OG Charmed where they were in that judgment trial thing, and all their past was like coming up on the screen. I thought they could do something like that
Oh yeah, that would, yeah.
rather than just like
Than just
the
a store full of bland VHS tapes.
and so basically Kayla comes around, and once she's come around, basically she comes to help. I guess she goes to help Maggie and Kayla.
Yeah, at this
So
point is when I like to say when they conveniently all meet outside the mines where they're performing the ritual to bring Inara.
yeah, and so Mel shows up and she kind of helps Maggie. She's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this as sisters together,"
Yeah, they
which would
conveniently get all their problems squashed in 30 seconds.
and there's actually a scene, and this is like my favorite. I think this is like my favorite Mel spell that she's done the whole season. I just absolutely loved it. She's like, "Goddess of Grey, conceal my way," or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like all this smoke comes up, and then she like brings out this bloody samurai sword, and she's like fighting. And I was like,
Yeah, she just
yes,
starts kicking ass. Like
it was so good.
it was really good. I like that scene too.
And they go in the mine, and Kayla shows up. Oh, well, these characters, they're like, the magical unseen, they're like sacrificing themselves in the bowl.
Mm-hmm. They're all
And
disappearing one by one in a puff of green magic or blue magic.
yeah. And Chloe she tries to persuade her sister, but her sister's long gone.
Yeah, she's not having it.
And she gets sucked into the bowl. So
And that's when the earth shakes and
yep, Anara comes to life.
mm,
And she came out, and it was just like it was good, because I think me and Jay had said in a previous episode, we really wanted like a campy villain. We wanted like, a character that could like a cackling character, like just campy and ridiculous. And I think that we got that with Anara, because what she does is she like drinks from the bowl, and she just this big loud cackle. She
right.
like laughs, and it's like, oh my God.
She's super campy.
And yeah, basically she drinks of the bowl, and she like zaps Maggie, I think.
She zaps Maggie and then she zaps them all.
And then it just kind of like she just shatters the bowl, and she's like, what'd she say?
Oh, see you in paradise.
Yeah. And that was it. Sorry.
It's really an abrupt ending to that episode. Like it's very abrupt. I wasn't expecting it to be the end.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those things of like, come back next week and see what happens.
Right.
But I thought overall, it was a really good episode. I thought that I really enjoyed the writing, the plot. There wasn't really anything about the episode that I didn't say like, other than like the bebop thing, which I thought was a bit silly, and just how it's just Mel seems to have these potions on her all the time, and
she's very conveniently, she has a potion for everything.
Yeah, and it's like she just happens to pull it out. I'm just like, really?
Like she knows she's gonna need it. Like yeah, I'm gonna walk out of the house. Maybe I know I'm gonna need these binoculars, like, or like I'm gonna need this drink me potion. How did she know she was gonna need to be shrank?
I don't know. I think we're just supposed to like,
yeah, we're just supposed to go with it.
So what would you rate this episode?
I know I seem to I'd give it as maybe a 6.5 out of or a 7.
Really?
Yeah, a little higher. Or would you rate it higher?
I would probably for the show and for what it is, I would probably give it like a 7.5.
7. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's totally fine. I mean, the thing about when I rate an episode of the reboot, I'm not putting it in terms of like other shows like Buffy or like
right.
OG Charmed. I think that it's got a certain like way about it. And so for this show, I think that's kind of what I'll go through. But
that
if
is
you
fair.
Yeah,
no, that's fair.
And so yeah. So you give it,
I'm gonna go up to 7.5 as well, I think.
yeah.
Because like
And
you said,
mm, and so yeah, I've really enjoyed recording this with you.
I had a great
Um,
time. I really thank you for responding and having me on. I
Thank
hope I
you.
did well.
Yeah, you did really well on the
I've
podcast.
listened to a few of the episodes and my opinions are really in line with how Jay feels.
Mm,
You know, I didn't go into this season with a whole lot of expectation and they've kind of blown me away. It's
yeah,
just it's so much more cohesive and I like how they tried to tie everything that they can together to make it make sense.
yeah, exactly. Okie dokie. So I think that's it. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think, like I said, thank you for having me on here. I'm excited for the next 2 episodes. I can't wait for you guys to put them out.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully Jay will be back, but I'm not sure. If not, I have to have um see what to do. But yeah, the plan is to continue reviewing the next 2 episodes. Although I don't know when they'll be posted. Sorry.
Right.
People that are listening, you might have to wait a little while. But I promise they will be coming. We're just under different circumstances at the moment than we normally are. Okay, so oh, and what do you have a Twitter account or anything that you want people to
Oh,
follow?
yes. My Twitter is at Flamin_fame. Flamin is all capitalized. Fame is not capitalized.
Okie dokie. Right. So yeah, if you want to guys, if you want to follow that, feel free. And you can follow us on Twitter, Po2_podcast. And we tweet a lot. I run the Twitter and I tweet a lot. So but yeah, we just talk about the show and interact with people and post videos. And we also have a fan page or a news page rather, where we post like news articles and things that we find, and that's Charmed News. So yeah. So thanks for listening, and we will be back soon. You can say bye if you want to.
Oh, see you guys later. Thank you.
Thanks.